The authoritarian nightmare that is Project 2025 is fortunately on the minds of many in my audience, and that's a good thing. I've been hearing from some of you who are saying, David, the threat from Project 2025 is not being explored nearly enough. And occasionally someone will write in and say, David, are the fears about Project 2025 a little bit overblown? And that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to skip right to the conclusion, which is Project 2025 fears are not overblown. Project 2025 is, of course, this plan involving the Heritage Foundation and 100 other partners to, if Trump wins, if Trump becomes the president, really turn even the non-political and more bureaucratic aspects and elements and departments of government into partisan MAGA ideological actors. It will scale up the power of the presidency. It will diminish any ability to work beyond partisan lines. And it would be the authoritarian nightmare that Jason Stanley spoke about on MSNBC. We're going to listen to a very short clip here. Here is Jason Stanley, former guest on the show. Check out his interviews, an expert on authoritarianism and more. And he explains how this is the blueprint for a second Trump term. And remember, on yesterday's show, we looked at MAGA Mike Johnson saying, this will be the priority. We're going to do the things that are laid out in Project 2025 if Trump wins and if MAGA Mike is still in power, which is a question. Here is Jason Stanley explaining it, and then we're going to delve into it in some more detail.
Now, Project 2025 is a blueprint for the second Trump term, and its first priority for the Department of Commerce is to replace employees by make all decision making done by political appointees.
Right.
Now, just imagine that. They're supposed to provide us with independent information about the economy. Instead, they'll be providing us with the kind of information used to justify whatever will increase Trump and his cronies' wealth.
Now, I want to, before we dive more deeply into Project 2025, I want to address one piece of misinformation that's being spread by Republicans about Project 2025 to try to defend it. Many Republicans, when they are confronted with the reality of Project 2025, will link to articles that say, for example, oh, Biden is cleaning house of Trump's political appointees and saying, see, look, every president does this. And the, of course, reality is no. As we have talked about before, when a new president comes in, they often replace ambassadors around the world. They replace cabinet members, the Secretary of State, the Secretary of Homeland Security, Transportation. They replace a number of other political appointees at various departments, but they don't go in and mass fire career bureaucrats in non-political positions and replace them with political loyalists. That's what Project 2025 is about. When Stephen Bannon, Trump's former propagandist, talks about deconstructing the administrative state, it's very poorly coded and thinly veiled language to say we are going to take positions that are not historically political and we are going to put in loyalists who will, yes men and yes women who will do whatever the hell Trump wants. Now, there are a lot of specifics to talk about here. The specifics of the non-political positions where we would see replacement with political loyalists are only part of the plan. But the plan overall is turn the federal government in sum total, that's SUM total, into the operational arm of MAGA. And that's a major shift. That's a major shift even from traditional conservative strategies where it used to be, this isn't me looking at Mitt Romney or William F. Buckley or Reagan through rose-colored glasses. This is a reality. It used to be that traditional conservatives wanted to limit government through fiscal measures and through reduction in size of government. Now, we could agree or disagree with them. In many cases, I disagreed with them. But they weren't looking to turn every department and every bureaucracy into a political tool. They wanted to, in some cases, they wanted to diminish the power in those cases. And when Trump talks about expanding Schedule F, it's a phrase you'll often hear him use. It's not even clear he knows what it means. When they talk about expanding Schedule F, it means growing the percentage of federal workers who can be fired And in many cases, it's by tens of thousands of roles. And they want to do that to many policymaking roles. They want to focus in on the Department of Justice and the FBI. They say, we're not for defunding the police. It's Democrats who are defunding the police. But now, unfortunately, for those who still understand how the country's supposed to function, Republicans see the Department of Justice and the FBI as obstacles to right-wing policy. So that's another change they want to make: defund and deconstruct the DOJ and the FBI. They want to reclassify federal employees as at-will workers to make it easier to fire them and then to replace them with political loyalists. They want to overhaul, is the word they use, a bunch of different departments, and that will limit the independence of many of these departments, and it will allow for the political reversal of many policies that have been built up non-politically across many administrations. And of course, at the end of it, there is, in some cases, we want to reduce the federal workforce. We may want to eliminate some departments, but their ability to get that done in 4 years is quite limited. So what we are talking about is turning everything about the federal government into weaponized political positions. And in my view, anybody who dismisses this as not that much of a concern is really missing an extraordinary danger to the way this country was supposed to function. We will see how far they get if they win. I'd rather not see it. Unfortunately, we now are going to go from Project 2025 to economic policy because they are falling for it again when it comes to Trump's economic policy. Let's talk about that next. I love my Helix sleep mattress. I've been sleeping on Helix mattresses for years now, which is why I asked them to be a sponsor. You actually take their famous sleep quiz, takes just a few minutes to answer questions about your sleep preferences, body type, sleep position, whether you have back pain, and Helix will match you with a mattress that's perfect for you, which is really unique and helpful because a lot of people don't know where to start when buying a mattress. I certainly didn't. Their newest collection of mattresses, called Helix Elite, come with a built-in Glaciotex layer to keep you cool at night, an extra layer of foam for pressure relief, and thousands of extra microcoils for best-in-class support and durability. All of their mattresses ship right to your door, totally free. They come with a 10 or 15-year warranty, and you get 100 nights to decide if you like it. My audience also gets a whopping 20% off all orders, plus 2 free pillows. Go to helixsleep.com/Pacman and enter code HelixPartner20 at checkout. The link is down below.